The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines the word travel to go on or as if on a trip or journey. But I think traveling can be so much deeper than that. Traveling can open so many doors to one's possibilities, to dig deeper to our own selves, but also to learn about the people whom we share the world with. Though we may be very different from each other, we can always find some similarities with each other. And this is why I love traveling so much, because you can always expect the unexpected, and you can always be surprised by what you may learn. And due to the pandemic, traveling has become quite difficult, but I'm really glad that I was able to live this experience and to see different things. And this is why I'm so very excited to present this series, because it's one I've been most excited for since this February when we bought the tickets. But also, traveling just brings so much joy, and I think, why not share it? So I hope you enjoy this series as much as I loved living it. So this kind of video is going to be different than my usual ones, seeing as there's going to be mainly voiceovers because I rarely film myself talk. So this is us taking the train from Bordeaux to Paris, where we got to La Gare Montparnasse, and this is me showing the Airbnb we had, and the view was amazing. We had great light in the morning, and we were very close to a boulangerie and also a marché. And this was the sunset, and this is me soon going to be explaining some stuff. We've arrived in Paris finally after flying to Bordeaux and taking the train to Paris, and we met with our cousins and we ate, and now we're with my brother.
Hello.
And this is the view. I think I already showed it before. It's really nice, and tomorrow we have a good long day ahead of us, so we're really excited. I'll see you tomorrow. So the first morning we decided to walk over to my cousin's apartment in Paris, where we would meet up with both my cousins and one of my cousins' partner, and from there we wanted to walk to Centre Pompidou, or I don't remember if we walked or took something like the metro probably. And the views, the buildings, everything, the architecture is just to die for. I love it. And I think what I love most about Centre Pompidou was that if you go to the highest floor, they have a rooftop and you can see all of Paris, and it's a wonderful view. If ever you want to get a really good look at Paris, that's the best way to do it. And right next to the Centre Pompidou, there is Brâncuș Studio, which is actually a Romanian artist, and we want to see his studio because I am Romanian and why not? And right after, we decided to go to a cafe that one of my cousins knew very well and said it was good, and got a chai latte, which was good. And from there on, we decided to walk across the Seine and go to a very special boulangerie where they make some of the greatest croissants in Paris, called La Maison d'Isabelle. And I have to say that croissant was so good. I still dream about it. So if ever you're in Paris and want to get a really good croissant, that's the place to go. It's really close to Jardin du Luxembourg, so if ever you don't know where to eat it, that's where we had it. And we were really lucky. They had a little orchestra going on while we were eating, so we had some great music while eating some great croissants. And it was just great. It was still warm, buttery, crispy. I still dream about it. And that's the little orchestra that was going on. The music was lovely. And then we just walked around the garden, and it was lovely.
I was so full of pain, just stuck in my head. There was no.
So right after walking around the garden, my brother had a great need to go to the bathroom. So where else to go other than Le Panthéon to go to the bathroom? And of course, just drop by and look around. And I must say, originally the Pantheon, Le Panthéon, I'm gonna say in French, was not in our plan to go to visit, but it really is a beautiful place to look, to see. And I mean, the architecture is lovely everywhere, but this was just next level. It was great. I absolutely loved it. After Le Panthéon, we took the bus and headed towards Pink Mama, which is an Italian restaurant, and it was some of the best Italian food I ever had in my life. If ever you're going to Paris, make your reservation before, because my cousin said it is always full, and it's super Pinteresty. The interior is lovely, and the food was just amazing. And after the restaurant, we walked back to our Airbnb and caught the sunset. I think this is the day that we walked at least 30 kilometers. So if you're coming to Paris, bring some good shoes. But on this day, we had planned a lot of museums. I think a lot too. But when you're going to a Paris museum in Paris, there's lots of stuff to cover. So technically 2 museums is a lot, but whatever. So in that morning, we were going to Le Musée de l'Orangerie, which is where there are the infamous water lilies by Monet. And this is La Place de la Concorde, where there is the Egyptian monument right there. And you can also see the Eiffel Tower. So that's amazing. And the water lilies were amazing. They're beautiful. There are a lot of people, which is to be expected. And not only do they have the water lilies, but lots of art also in the basement. But I will say this museum was smaller than the other ones I went to in Paris, but that's fine. I mean, you have plenty to see here as well. After visiting the museum, we had some time to kill before our next reservation at the Louvre. So I thought we could walk on the Champs-Élysées, and my brother had the idea for us to go to Pierre Hermé to try out some special macarons. And we took 4 different flavors, but I think out of the 4, my 2 favorite ones were the black sesame and the yuzu, because I think they're the most special out of the 4. But overall, they were all great, so can't complain. And the Champs-Élysées was great. The other store that was pretty cool that my cousin had recommended was the Nike store, because it was a bit more special. And here I think I filmed Les Grands Palais or Les Petits Palais. Don't really remember. But after walking around les Champs-Élysées, we walked through Le Jardin des Tuileries, which is between l'Orangerie and the Louvre, to get to the Louvre. And by then my feet were already aching. But what can I say? It's fine. It's Paris. And the Louvre was ginormous. We're not there yet, but you'll see. It was huge. If you're going to the Louvre, make sure that's all you're doing for the entire day and nothing else, because I thought we saw a lot, but we didn't even see all of it. So it's huge. It's really big.
This dream I'm dreaming, won't you wake me up tonight? 'Cause this life I'm living doesn't really feel like mine. This strange dream I'm dreaming.
After going to the Louvre, we met up with our cousins to have a traditional French meal, a bouillon as they call it, and I had an onion soup, and I don't remember what the rest of us ate, but I remember the onion soup and it was good, and then we headed home. I suppose I forgot to film the food, hence why the metro. On this day, we had a lot planned. What a surprise. So this morning, we headed out to Cathédrale de Notre-Dame, and here quickly transitioning to Le Musée du Moyen-Âge, which I don't think is a big must unless you're totally curious about Le Moyen-Âge. I wasn't that big of a fan. And we then walked to the Eiffel Tower, which was in construction for the Olympics in 2024. So we kept our distances.
If it ain't wrong, it don't feel right. Never thought you would leave. I never thought I'd have to start again. Somebody
We then headed from Le Champ des Mars, looking at the Eiffel Tower, to Trocadéro, which is right behind Le Champ des Mars, behind the Eiffel Tower. A little fountain area, which is really great for if you're boiling hot. It's a great spot. And after that, we also headed to l'Arc de Triomphe. And don't go to the bathroom near the Arc de Triomphe. It smells horrible. You have to pay for money anyway, so if you're not down, don't do it because it's not great. And from there, we took the line 14 all the way to La Défense, which is where we were meeting up with our cousin because she lived near there, worked near there. It's not exactly a touristic area, and there isn't much to do except for look at the Esplanade, which is right there. And we also went to a mall where I got some new shoes. And from there, after we met up with her, we went to Sacré-Cœur, which is beautiful. We didn't hike up there because my feet were tired, but we looked at it and it was great.
Don't you wish we were dreaming?
The next morning we had pain au praliné and a croissant from Bohémie, which is what my cousin recommended. One of my cousins recommended for us to go there, and I also recommend it. It was near Le Musée. Actually, no, it was near the Louvre. But that morning we were going to Le Musée d'Orsay, and it was lovely. Nothing horrible to say about it. It was great. Musée d'Orsay is amazing. And then we went to Shakespeare and Co. This was our last night in Paris, so we had tapas from Depot. I don't remember what the restaurant was called. I'll have to look it up. But great food, also recommend it. And then we took the metro back to the Airbnb, and the next day we prepared for our leave to Brussels.